So let's start to look how we can create these labels here for every category on our scatter chart. So let's start to look how to create labels on the background of a scatter chart in chart.js 4. First of all, we have this here, and I got this default code. You can find this on chartjs3.com. Getting started, scroll down and copy this chunk of code. Next, if you want to have the end result of the code of this video, go to my Patreon here. You can find all the codes that I have for each video. So what we're going to do here now is we're going to scroll down here and we're going to start working on converting this into a scatter chart. Let's save that, refresh. Now we have a scatter chart but no data points. The reason why is we didn't have any correct format. So we're going to make the format correct now. So I'm just going to make here the x value, let's say 2, y value number 2 as well. So if I save this, refresh, now we have this. So next what I want to do is I want to put in the lines in the very center. So how do we do this? We go to the scales. I'm going to remove this because we don't have to indicate that here, because what I will say here is position first of all. This will be string value center. And then I will say here the minimum value that I want to see, that will be 0, and then the maximum value will be 10. So we don't have to say start at 0 because we already have the minimum value being displayed here by this. Next, what I want to do is the X scale, same as well. Refresh, there we are. So now we have these scales here nicely. What I want to do now is having text here, like just imagine like the profit growth metrics from marketing. We have the star, question mark, the cash cow, and the dog. So let's put those in there. To do this, I'm going to say comma, I'm going to say plugins, bracket, and then I'm going to give this a name, scatter labels. Copy this, and then we're going to say here constant scatter labels equals, and then we're going to say here the ID name, scatter labels, comma, and then we're going to say here when would we like to draw this. We're going to say this before data sets draw. So then we can say here I want a chart, like this, column, chart, args, and the plugins, and maybe I need like that, yes, and then like this, function arrow expression. And then what I want to do here is start to do a object destructuring. So if you don't understand that, please watch my video understanding object destructuring for chart.js. It's in the description box. So I'm going to just run through this quickly. Then I'm going to say here ctx, I want to have the data, I want to have the chart area. And if you don't understand what I'm doing with the chart area, there's another video, understanding the chart area in chart.js, very, very useful to know. Left, right. I guess we can use the top and bottom as well, and that's what we need. So once we've got all of these, we can start to draw the text. I'm going to say ctx.save to save all variables above and keep this as our default. Now what I want to do is I want to start working on creating a text. So I'm going to say ctx.font to indicate a bold text, 15 pixels for these labels that we want to show here, and then the font family will be sans serif. So once we have this, the next thing what I want to do is I want to say here ctx.fillText, and then we're going to put in here the text. So the text will be, one will be star, that's eventually, and then we have 3 more to go, so we have to work on that later on. Then we have here the x coordinate and here the y coordinate. So for this, I'm just going to put in 10 pixels and here 10 pixels as well. Save it, refresh, and you can see here now it goes 10 pixels to the right and 10 pixels to the bottom. So if I do this here, for example 100, it will go 100 pixels down. So I need to be exactly here. So how do we get these coordinates? The chart area gives us these coordinates. So what I can say here, left. So I want to start basically on this line here, left. And then we can say here top as well. If I save this, refresh, you can see here it will get exactly the center, and then it will start to draw. So this is all fine, but what I want to do is I want to move away from this line with 5 pixels. So from the left side, I'll just say here +5, save that, refresh, and you can see here it now moves. Let's move this down. How many pixels do we need to move down? Since we have here 15 pixels, so basically it's 7.5 pixels here above. To make it very easy, I'll just grab the 15 pixels. I'll just say here plus 15 pixels instead of 7.5, because that will be just on this line here. Now we have just some space additional, and that is perfect. Alright. Now, what I want to do is I want to have multiples of this. But for that, I'm going to build a function. So to create a function, I'm just going to say a function. I'm going to say show categories or show brackets. Let's call the bracket, or let's call the category. It's basically a category. So we want to show the categories. And we're going to say here for every category, which is basically the star, the cash cow, etc., etc. Then we have here as well the position X, position Y. And then we can say here, well, this is the one later on we'll be needing text align. And I'm going to show you later on why. So what I want to do now is I just want to cut this and put it up here or between here. So now we have this here. Now I can just get this code or this function and just run this function by saying here, for example, well, for now, I'll just leave this blank. And later on, we're going to put in these values step by step. Save, refresh. You can see here this works. So this all works nicely. While we didn't do anything except that we build a function. Now, what I want to do is I want to grab this, put that in here. And let's say here category. Put this category here. And we're going to say here star. Put in here the star. If I save this, refresh. Oh, doesn't work. Probably because some of these other values are of course missing. So what I can do is just can grab all of these, just put that in there. I'm going to grab this, put that in here. And then finally we're going to say here text align. Say ctx.text align. And we're going to say here maybe left for now. Let's see here, that will be this, and then of course this will cut out and put it in here. Make sure that this is a variable, semicolon save, refresh. So now this works. You will see here if I do right, let's see what happens. If I do right, it moves here, and that one is later on important because if I do here right, what will happen? I will go off screen. So then I need to have alignment here of right. So, and then probably plus or minus X amount of pixels instead of plus. So we need to do exactly the opposite if we are on the other side of our canvas. So let's start to work on building that, because basically what we can build is an object or an array of objects here. So I'm going to say your constant, and I'm going to say your categories, and then I'm going to say equal bracket. Alright? Now I want this here. And then I'm going to put in here the category name. So let's say here name. And then I'm going to say here, this will be star, comma. Next, I want to have the X position. And the X position is basically what we had here. The left, comma. And we don't have to put this in brackets because that will make it string because this is a variable. Then we have here the Y position. I'm going to grab this. And finally, I'm going to say here text align equals right. Oh, that should not be equal like that. I need to have here column. So once I have this, save, nothing happens yet. And this should be left eventually because it should be positioned here. Nothing happens yet, and if I make this left. So what I need to do now is I need to make sure that this is matching with that. How do we do this? Well, we have this constant here. And later on, I'll put in here another one. But so what I want to do now is if I do here console log, categories, you'll see we get all of these items nicely. Open up developer tab, you get the whole array, it loads multiple times, don't worry about it, but you can see here we get the positions of the X and Y, and we get here the name and text alignment. Now what I want to do is I want to grab this, put it in here, but make sure that we have here a for each loop. So what I'm going to say here, copy this, because that's the array dot for each. And then what I'm going to say here is the following, make it like that. Then I'm going to say here, what is the item here? Let's call it item for now. It's just a category, but I want to avoid use category or categories multiple times because we have it here as well. And that might create confusion. So let's say here for every item, which would be basically one of these, I want to do the following. I want to grab basically this item here, put it there. And I'm going to say here, item dot name. That's what we're doing here. And then we're going to say for the others exactly the same. So once we have this, we should have now a working version that can loop multiple times. So let's try this, make this here, and then here this one will be text align item. Text align in here. Save that, refresh. Alright, so now we have this one here, but we have to make sure we have left, top, and that one. And oh, of course, my bad. So what am I mistaken here is this item here. I need to have here the X position. And here I'm going to get the Y position. Save that, refresh. There we are. So now what we could do is just add up the others. Comma, say star, what could this be? This could be, well, this is the cash cow. Cash cow. And the cash cow will be at the bottom. But instead of plus 15, you will see it will go down too much, as you can see here. I need to do here negative 15, because I want to push it up. There we are. So now we have that one. So now we can just add another one. This will be the question mark. And this will be on the right side. And you'll see here we have to do some tiny adjustments. If I do this, and it should be on the top, save, refresh. You can see here it is not correct. So what I'm going to do here on the top, this needs to be plus, and then this one should be negative. Save, refresh. So now it's here, but it's not working accordingly because I need to make this right. The text alignment, so it will push it to the left side and it will ignore the right side, like that. Now, at the very bottom, we're done. Copy this, and then we just put that in there, and this will be our dog. That's the category name. We're going to say bottom. And then probably we can say here negative, save, refresh, and there we are. So if you want to have, for example, colors, we can even assign a color here. We'll say here color, and then we make this, and let's grab these colors here. I'm just going to grab one of these and put that in here. And you can imagine you can do this with multiple colors. So if you want to have every category in a unique color, you can just do it like this. I will just put it with one color here so you have an understanding. Or let me just change this to gray. This is gray. And this one is gray. And you have two red ones and two gray. So how do we do this with the color? I'm going to enter ctx dot fill style equals. And then the fill style equal what exactly will be the color. So I'm going to put in color here, and I'm going to say here, maybe we just say text color. Copy that, put that in the fill style, semicolon here. Then of course we need to make sure that we have this text color represented here as well. Comma, I'm going to say item dot color. Save that, refresh, and now you can see these are gray and these are red. And there you are.